Real quick, because I hate intros, this is just a little story, so grab your popcorn, your animal crackers, your juice box, sit on the fucking mat, and enjoy. Also, I'm gonna apologize for the shit audio, mainly because I'm trying to get everything set up, but I've recorded this about 4 times now, and it being like 23 to 30 minutes each recording, I'm kind of just gonna throw this all together. Kind of done with it. So, yeah. Enjoy! So this actually happened when I was in high school. We used to sit at the tables, me and my friends, during break and play some card games or just talk or whatever. One of these particular days, I was waiting for a friend. Let's call him Tyler. See, Tyler was actually in tutoring that day, so I had no clue of knowing this because they didn't let me know ahead of time, and I was waiting to play a game with him. So one of these kids, we'll call him Maximilian Pegasus, because card games, ooh. Walks up and asks, "Hey, can I sit here?" And I'm like, "Sorry, my friend Tyler is going to be coming on in a minute, and we already have something kind of planned." And there were other seats and everything, so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But for some reason, he really wanted to sit there. He kept asking every 2 minutes, "Hey, can I sit here? Hey, can I sit here?" And it was slowly becoming apparent that Tyler wouldn't show up, but I was starting to get really annoyed by this guy continuing to say this. So when he asked it the next time, I'm just like, "Okay, dude, I'm still waiting for someone? Fuck off." Which he didn't take very well. We'll call this next guy Cream Puff. So he looks over at Cream Puff, and I don't know if you can tell by his name, but Cream Puff is a very large man. He's, I mean, he just gives him some puffy Cheetos, and he's a happy dude. He looks over at my friend Cream Puff and says, "Hey, back me up." And he reaches over and he slaps me in the head, not in the face, but in the head, which is really weird way to start shit. But you can kind of tell there was something wrong with this entire situation. So here's the thing: I'm not a man that likes confrontation, but you don't let anyone just hit you. So I stood up, I grabbed the kid by his shirt, hit him 3 times in the face. I basically let him go and said, "Go away," because I didn't want to deal with anything else. Now the thing is, he starts walking behind me after I sit back down because I don't want to do anything else. I don't want anyone to get in trouble because it hasn't been seen by a teacher or some shit yet, which is kind of what I was going for. I just wanted to go about my days not dealing with that kind of stuff. So he goes around behind me and I grab him because I notice him and I'm like, "Dude, fuck off." And he's like, "I'm just passing behind you," and I'm like, "Okay." And so he uh, runs away a little bit, turns around, flips me off, like in a really weird way. Like he put a lot of energy into it, making it go up and down. He flipped me off with both hands, and then just proceeded to like do fucking air signals towards planes or something with it. I don't know. But he went and laid down on a bench afterwards, which kind of tipped me off. This kid's a little bit odd. Um, so I went about my day, not really worried about it. Uh, Tyler told me later he had tutoring, and I'm like, "Oh, you shithead, you should have told me." So a few days go by, and then I get called to the office. Not a clue why. I didn't think anything about this. So I'm like, "Hey, what are they calling me there for?" So what happens is, apparently, someone did say something about the thing with me and Maximilian Pegasus, and they explain, "Oh, we know the thing that happened with him. We want to hear your side," which they never want to hear your side. They're just going to punish you regardless of what happens, let's face it. So I gave them my side, and at the end of it, I was trying to be as, nice as possible about it. So I asked, "Does he have something wrong with him? Is there like something?" Because I mean, I was trying not to be offensive, which, God, if that isn't hard. The vice principal who was handling this at the time said, "Yeah, I don't exactly remember what he had, but it was something to where he could not be sociable. I don't know if it was Asperger's or something like that. He wasn't very adept socially. Like, he couldn't speak with other people and everything very well. So at the end of that, even though it was kind of both our faults because I was being a little bit too much of a dick to someone I didn't know, I did feel bad about it. So that was the thing. So here's the thing. I tried to put my best foot forward the next day. For the most part, it went okay. Like, he joined the group and we all played a couple games together. We all talked, and eventually, it was okay. And the thing is, me and Maximilian Pegasus, we weren't like close, tight friends. We didn't talk every day or anything like that. But he was just someone in the group that you could get along with, and he was all right. He was never a person that was, oh, this guy's horrible. We should never talk with him, or the annoying person, which we had one. There was no big thing where, oh, he doesn't get along with the group or he doesn't click. He just needed some help getting into it. And when you try and bring him into the group, despite having a little altercation the day before, I mean, it really speaks volumes. So you might be asking, how does this play anything into changing someone's life? It sounds like he just hit him in the face and he got friends. Well, it's not the end of the story. So we're friends for about a year or so, and my senior year rolls around. Now, see, I'm in Spanish 2 right now. I'm working on this amazing painting. Oh, it's so fucking horrifically terrible, and it's beautiful at the same time. So I'm working on this painting to represent some Spanish history. And then I hear the next room over, and I'm like, damn, they're really loud. Should we go tell them to shut the hell up? I focus for a second, and I'm hearing one voice among the rest that's a lot louder, and I realize the rest are laughing. And it's Maximilian Pegasus. And here's the thing, what he's screaming was the really weird stuff. He was screaming, why? Why are you doing this to me? What did I ever do to you? He seemed genuinely clueless of why he was getting laughed at and everything, and why all this was happening. So I'm like, dude, what the hell's going on? Because they have a teacher, but so the bell rings and I instantly dart out of the classroom and I go look and Maximilian Pegasus does the same thing. I shout out his name and he turns around and looks at me and instantly you can see a sign of relief. His shoulders are relaxed. His voice changes. He's like, dude. And I'm all like, what's going on, man? And I look in the classroom and the teacher is, let's say, Coach Mountain. And the thing is, Coach Mountain, he doesn't really put a stop to shit. In fact, he encourages some shit because I saw him laughing with some of the other students that stuck around in his class after the bell rang. And you could just see the smug grin on his face. And, well, let me just tell you, he's a piece of shit. Needless to say. But I'm like, I think I can piece what's happening here. Let's go talk with the principal. And he's like, no, dude, it's not that big a deal. And I'm like, no, you're going to let this happen again, and I don't want this to happen. So we went up to the office because I had my last period off, and he had remediation classes he had to go to, fourth period. So we went up there. I went to the front desk with him. I'm all like, can we talk with the principal because we need to get something solved now? And she said, no, he's in a meeting. You can wait a little bit. And I couldn't because I had things planned that day. And, of course, Maximilian Pegasus had to go to his remediation classes. So I was all like, okay, we'll get this solved tomorrow. And hopefully we can meet up around lunch break or something, and we could go talk to him together. Because I knew he wasn't going to do it alone. He was just one of those people that is not going to go and do something like this alone. Mainly because he would be too nervous and scared. And I was a senior, and I was at the point where I didn't give a shit. I would burn the place down and not even care. I mean, senior year, woo! Anyway, so. Next day rolls around. We weren't able to meet up at lunch, sadly. So I wasn't just gonna burst up in there without more proof or anything, or without the actual person there. So I was even then I was like, I don't even know his full name. I don't know the rest of his classes if he needs to be called in for a witness, things like that, because it can hurt your credibility. But the next day kind of changed a lot of things because it happened again. And I was getting pissed off at this point because I was listening for it. And I was getting really pissed. So I stood up and was getting ready to walk out. And my teacher, let's just call him Senor because he's a Spanish teacher, and people just called him that regardless. I mean, he was okay with it. I mean, you're just calling him, I think, Mister. So I took 2 years of Spanish. I should know this. Anyway, so Senor looks at me and he knows what I'm about to do because the entire class can hear it. And he just looks at me and says, "Sit down." I think he didn't want an altercation with the other teachers, and he thought the other teacher would handle it, which he wasn't. And I think he knew that as well, but he just didn't want to get in trouble or something. Don't know. But another girl actually spoke up and said, "Senor, they're bullying him." And there was like hushed chatter about it all across the classroom. And I was just like, no. I walked out, and the bell rings shortly after, so it didn't even matter too much. But I see Maximilian Pegasus just darting out of the classroom again, and at this point I'm really pissed. So I say in a really angry voice his name, and he turns around again, and he's like, "Ah, dude." He's just relieved again, just to see a friendly face. He's just so relieved he's been surrounded by hate that entire time, and people laughing at him when he's getting serious about why. Why are you guys doing this to me? Why are you laughing at me? Why are you picking on me? He's generally sincere about that. Honestly, just can't see why people wouldn't fuck off at that point, because the kid did nothing. From what I know, the kid did nothing wrong. He is not a kid that would do something wrong. He is too awkward to do something wrong. Shit, the only reason he even hit me, I think, was because he thought Cheese Puff was going to back him up, which Cheese Puff doesn't back up shit. So at this point, I'm super pissed. I go immediately to the office. I drag him along. I'm saying, okay, we need to get this done now. Because I'm fired up at this point. I'm really angry, really hyped up. Because I don't even know why. He wasn't a dear friend to me, but at the same time, I hated seeing this. To where someone can't even just exist in a classroom and the teacher does nothing about it to help him. I was so generally pissed off. So we went to the office and I asked, okay, no, we need to get this done now. And they could see the look in my eyes and that I was extremely pissed. And they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, the principal isn't here today. He'll be back tomorrow, though." And I look at Maximilian Pegasus and I said, "Okay, we're going to get this done first thing tomorrow. We can meet up here, be there." We go our separate ways. We come back the next day. He didn't meet up with me. So I couldn't do it at the start because I get, at the start of the day, because I get there early. I just couldn't do it because I was waiting around for him all that day. But I have 2 periods off my senior year, fourth period and second period. So when second period rolls around, I busted up in there. Okay, I'm like, okay, you better be here today, otherwise I'm filing some sort of complaint because this is fucking ridiculous. And I started getting very angry at this point, and they're like, "Oh no, he's in a meeting though." Okay, that's okay. I can wait. Don't you have class? No, I'm a senior. So I walk back to his office, not even waiting for a response at that point, and I just sit by his door. And he pokes his head out eventually, still in the meeting, and he says, "What do you want?" Because he's a new principal, he's trying to keep up appearances. He always has a very stern look on his face. It was not, I was not buying it. Anyway, he said, "What do you want?" I said, "I need to have a chat with you. I'm in the middle of a meeting. Don't you have class?" "Nope, I'm a senior." He's like, "Okay, you wait right here." And so I eventually waited. I was gonna. He did not expect what was gonna come to him after, but I was generally angry. So I come in, I sit down, I wait politely till he asked what's happening. He was filing some papers or whatever. He sits down, looks me sternly in the face, and says, "Okay, what's going on? I need to talk with you about someone's getting bullied because I am not even in this room, and I can hear it, and no one's doing anything about it. This has been going on for about a week. I exaggerated there because I wouldn't let this shit go on for a week. I would be busting up in there if it was happening for a week. But I exaggerated to make a point. So he was like, okay, I don't think you're getting bullied. No. It's not me. It's this kid next door, and the only reason I know about it is because we can hear it. The teacher does nothing about it, and I'm getting sick and tired of it. This is your staff. You need to fucking get a handle on them. And I did not censor myself at all. And he just looked at me very angrily. Don't you talk like that in my office. I'll talk however I fucking want. You need to do your goddamn job and help that kid. Because he is getting bullied right now, and no one is doing shit about it. They're making his life miserable to where he might not even want to show up at school. This is your job. You handle the fucking staff. And so he gave me a really angry look, but he knew I was in the right. So I was like, you can write me up or whatever the fuck you want. You need to go make sure you do your job. And he looked at me really angrily, silent for a complete minute. Not a complete minute, but, you know, just a couple of seconds. And he said, well, you let me know if it happens again. Which set me off. No, motherfucker, you're gonna go do it now. You're gonna call him to this goddamn office, and I'll sit here and watch if I have to fucking do it. You're gonna go fix that kid's life because it is being fucking ruined for him right now. That can affect him for the rest of his goddamn life. He is already socially awkward enough. You need to fucking help him. Otherwise, I'm gonna get parents involved, and you don't want me to get my fucking parents involved. And which, at this point, he does. You could see a little shaking in his fucking mask he has on to keep up appearances, but he slowly moves his hand towards the phone, and he calls up Coach Mountain and says, "You need to get in here. You get someone to watch your class or whatever, but you need to get in here." In which case, I think I'll escort myself out. In which case, I could hear knocking on the door because apparently I was so loud that the people in the office were like, "Is he okay?" Uh, so that was the thing. So I walked out, and needless to say, I walked out like a cowboy due to my massive balls. I was actually very proud of myself at that moment, and I could not stop smiling because I just cursed out the principal. So I met Maximilian Pegasus later that day. I walked him out of his room to his mom's car. We talked on the way while he goes to remediation classes. His mom brings him every day. So I'm like, is there anything happening today? And he's like, no, it was actually different today. I think he said the teacher stepped in, or at least it wasn't as bad. Which, I mean, that's a step, but I told him, if anything happens, you get up, you walk next door, and we will open you with welcome arms. We will accept you with open arms, because there was people in the class saying to Senor, we want him to at least come over here, or they want to at least help the kid. So I was saying, if you ever need anything, you come over to the next room, because I will be the first person to that door, and I will open it in a heartbeat. And if Senor says anything about it, I will shut him down. Because after I talked to the principal, I don't think a teacher would really mess with me at that point. Otherwise, they would have quite an issue, because I was not about to let this kind of thing happen anymore. But yeah, that's the end of the story. I pretty much helped the kid out. He went on about his life. I like to think it helped him in a very positive way. Uh, Mainly just because it was my one of my heroic moments. I look back at that and I smile, knowing I did the right thing, and I even went to such extremes. But I'm happy about that because it might have had a great impact on his life. Otherwise, he might just, have shot up a school or something. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think he would be that kind of person, but I do think he needed a helping hand once in a while. Which, I mean, don't we all? But I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's not my usual kind of thing, but I am gonna try and get into telling stories. So here's the thing. I also want to do a little piece of artwork right here. It hopefully goes for the tie of the video, and it's a way for some artists to get some promotion or whatever. But yeah, I felt like this really was tying together the entire video, maybe just by a theme or something. So that's really good. Props to this person. Their chainmail is really awesome. I really loved the design and everything. And yeah, really good stuff. Now after that promotion, shameless self promotion, and everyone have a good day.